this is a Democracy X Innovation from King Prachadipok Institution. I'm Khankao Konglecha, researcher at Office of Innovation for Democracy.
And I'm Puripat Krenofarat. Today is the special edition of our podcast.
Yay!
Could be the very last episode of
Don't say last week.
No, last episode of the year. I didn't mean like the final.
Final.
It's not the finale.
But anyway, we come up with the idea to like produce some English edition, special edition for our listener. As I have a couple of friends DMing me, like texting me, like, "Oh my God, what is going on with your country?" Like throughout the whole year, and I was like, jokingly, I just told them like everything is wrong with Thailand. Let's be serious, and this is why we try to come up with the podcast in English to tell everyone or our international friend on like what is going on in Thailand. So we could possibly call this as like a recap of Thailand 2020 situation 101.
Like a political recap.
Yeah.
Thailand political recap on 2020. And as usual, we came with a special guest, and today we're with Mr. Purawit Wattanasuk or Mr. Park.
สวัสดีครับ Hello everyone. You might be familiar with my voice on Thai edition. I'm a researcher at College of Politics and Governance at King Prachadipok Institute, and I'm a colleague of คุณภูริพัฒน์ and คุณขวัญข้าว
And Mr. Sipapon too.
Yes.
He is also with us today.
Yeah.
In case you have any opinion towards what we're talking about, Thai political recap, because he experienced a lot of scene in Thailand political events. Also, we will go back to the beginning of the year and of the dissolution of the Future Forward Party, which was the Phenomena Party from 2019 onwards.
Yeah, actually, like this year has been quite eventful, isn't it? Like starting from the dissolution of the party and then the flash mob and everything. Like so, going back at the beginning of the year, we all like have a really positive looking mindset. Like, oh, we already have an election, even though we don't know if it really could be called
An election.
But so far, and then things happen, and the dissolution of political party known as Future Forward Party happened. And so I would like to like begin first with what is Future Forward Party and why is everyone so hyped up about them? Like why is like every like younger generation in Thailand is so like, oh my God, Thanathorn. Maybe let's get our expert on political party to introduce a little bit of the Future Forward Party.
Right.
Let's get back to in 2018. We had an election on 24th of March 2019, right? But in 2018, two key persons of the Future Forward Party, Mr. Thanathorn, Kun Thanathorn and Kun Piyabut, they point that they should form a party to contest in the upcoming election, right? By offering a new type of politics. This party would like to, move the country forwards.
Just like their name.
That's why they named the party the Future Forward Party. They propose, I would like to say, a progressive agenda. For example, abolish the 2017 constitution and rewrite the new one.
Some might say it's not really progressive but radical. Some might say
radical. As you know, our current constitution was drafted by the military junta appointed committee. And the Future Forward Party would like to abolish this constitution and replace with the new people's constitution. This is the first one. The second one, reform the military.
That is quite extreme.
As you know, right? What I'm going to say is that the Future Forward Party, it challenged many what should I say?
Common norm, like the ordinary Thai.
The traditional norms or
traditional
political actors in Thai politics. So they contest in the election on the 24th of March, right? And receive about 81 MPs, right?
88.
It's supposed to receive
88
or 89.
Which is really high for like a very very new political
newly
party.
formed party.
Newly formed party.
And okay, let me trace back first. Like, so Thailand has been under the military coup, military junta for like 5 years.
Yes.
5 years,
Right.
and then they have this term called the unlock on political participation, and so they allowed to form political party and for the campaign and everything for the for the 24th election, on 2018.
2019.
2019. Apologize.
Right.
And so so it's quite new because usually in Thai political environment atmosphere we only have like two main party.
Yeah, right.
Either
Bipolar.
Yeah.
We call it bipolar, right?
Polar-
Mr. Park.
No. Two
No.
parties.
Two-party system?
No.
Thai politics is not two-party system.
Right.
By
Yeah.
its definition.
Yeah,
By its
yeah.
definition.
If you say two-party system, you need to think about British party system.
So it mostly it's just like people usually view Thai politics as two main party. Let's just put it that way. Main.
Because two party has power in the parliament.
By nature,
nature.
Thailand is a multi-party system.
Okay.
But
Yes.
we need to trace back to the 1997 constitution. It
Wow.
aimed to create the two-party system by introducing a new electoral system.
Right.
Yeah, but eventually we got Thaksin as a prime minister, and
uh-huh.
as you know, what Thaksin did, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So the current constitution aims to create a fragmented multi-party system.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why we've got about 27 parties that had a seat in the parliament, right?
Forming the coalition and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
And yeah, so that's the background of what Thailand been going through for like the past couple of years. And yeah, so the emergence or the birth of Orange
Future
Party.
Orange Party.
We nickname it late, the Orange Party.
No, you look them down.
And I'm not. Anyway, okay, before
Okay.
I got smashed by all
Okay.
the
Zombie.
Future Vista. Okay, so the birth of Future Forward Party is like a new chapter in Thai politics, I would say, especially engaging the younger generation.
Right.
They call it like a very, very new storm in Thai politics.
To me, the Future Forward Party is a new phenomenon in Thai politics because it offers a new hope to a people.
Yeah.
Easily speaking, people who born with the red, yellow church
Yeah.
conflict, right?
Right.
People who's born with the military coup, political conflict that dragged the country for about a decade. It is a lost
Yeah.
decade, and one day the Future Forward Party pop up, and people will that this is a new hope for us.
Yeah, delay of hope. So that the like importance of Future Forward Party, and so with the case of dissolution of this party, it lead to a lot of impact in Thai society, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, so like a lot of, especially younger generation as their base, fan base, they come out and creating this consecutive university flash mob.
Let me give a clear information first why the Future Forward Party was dissolved. The party itself was complained about the loan.
Yeah.
Because according to the Political Party Act, it outline what is the income for the political party. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as you know, in the election, every party needs to use
Money.
to spend the money to campaign.
You're right.
Right? But it's just about 2 or 3 months before the election. How can you raise a fund?
Yeah.
For a short
So
time.
so Future Forward Party, okay, we come up with, we borrow our money from our leader Thanathorn. So how much is it? It's about 192 million Thai baht.
Million baht.
Yeah. So, but let me give a clear data here first. According to the Political Party Act, party must not receive a donation exceed 10 million Thai baht. Donation, not exceed 10 million Thai baht. But the Future Forward Party, the party itself borrow Thanathorn 192 million Thai baht. So, despite it's not a donation,
Yeah, it's
But-
a loan.
it's a loan. But the Constitutional Court rule that despite it's not the income,
Income.
but it is you earn the money from your leader. and it can give the party leader more influence on the party's election.
Basically, I read it. It said like the political leader may have the manipulative power over the party.
That he can dominate the party.
So that's why it was against the rule and it was not correct, and that's why they dissolved the party.
It's difficult because he's the leader.
I mean,
he can dominate.
Exactly. I mean, we talked about this before in our Thai edition podcast on how it doesn't make any much sense, but it also show and presented that possibly I'm not leading anything, but possibly there are political bias.
Right. Sure. That's a bias. Everybody can say, but I would say that there's a debate saying that like the party, that the political party which represent the people and like the constitutional courts, like they are not generally from the people, and they have the authority over to decide that they can dissolve any parties that they can say that they are unconstitutional.
We call it in the academic term as judicialization of politics,
or ตุลาการพิวัตร
ตุลาการพิวัตร in Thai. When you interpret into English, we call it judicialization of Thai politics.
Right. That's where courts and judicial system come to play politics.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And now, like, should there be any political institution that can dissolve the people's representative? Like, no. Or in the democratic regime, there should not be, because like democratic contains of demos, which is the people.
The model that we use today, we borrow from the continental Europe, right? Germany. The constitutional court in Thailand, the idea to establish the constitutional court, we borrow from Germany. Why Germany need to have the constitutional court? Because what happened in Germany during World War II, the German had a leader named Hitler. So after the World War II, what should the Germans do? Just to do everything they can to make sure that the people like Hitler or the party like Nazi can come to power. That's why they need to set up the constitutional court as a one mechanism to ensure that the anti-politics party will not come
to power again.
Yep.
And then it leads to the event that we're gonna talk about is flash mobs.
Yep.
Right.
Because like after the dissolution of Future Forward Party, and they said like this party represent people, so Mr. Thanathorn himself and Mr. Piabut saying that who cannot be tolerated anymore. We have a meeting at National Stadium Station, BTS National Stadium Station, and we'll do flash mob today, as you said that day, and then that's the beginning of the gathering.
And it was quite interesting though, because like for like past couple of 5 years to 5 years, we have no engagement in any politics, and like all we are basically put on freeze with everything, and so with this flash mob going on, it was quite a big thing in the past 5 years.
So he's the one who started it.
Is he?
Well, what do we think?
I think it is the natural reaction.
It's a natural reaction.
Let's get back to what I said. The Future Forward Party offer a new hope to a Thai people, right? Especially to a young generation.
So when they see their hope crashing down, they just naturally coming up.
Like when you dream of something, and one day your dream it's gone.
Crash and burn.
Right.
Same thing. I mean, what I'm going to say is that Future Forward is not just the party, but it is also symbolic hope and political aspiration for people. I'm not going to argue whether the Future Forward Party violate the constitution or not. It's another issue. But in political term, we know that the Future Forward Party, offer a new hope, and your hope is no longer exist.
Right. and because of the younger generation, teenagers, first voter, like from age 18 to like maybe early 30s, they were like they have dreams and they aspire to change society and the Future Forward Party, especially Mr. Thanathorn, Mr. Piyabut, and Miss Panika. They offer and they show us that what's the problem going on with this country, and they aim to solve it, and people have hope that okay, we'll still have a chance, because like a decade before, people lose hope in politics. People lose hope in Thai politics, like going back to the old national politics that we can't like polarization and things, red shirt, yellow shirt, and then now they offer the way out, and then it was abolished by some like some political institution, whether they have a right to do that or not. So people like, okay, they can't tolerate anymore, so they go into the street.
We need to remember that some of the constitutional court judges were appointed by the military junta, appointed parliament,
which is not
so it is a question. It is also a question of legitimacy.
Let's say we are not really talking about Future Forward Party for today, but I mean, like, if we're gonna talk about Thai politics in 2020, we seriously can't ignore the existence of this party at all, because it really is a trigger point in change of Thailand. And so as Kun Puripat said, after the dissolve of the party, people coming out as Pipak said, yes. okay. I think I just gotta use our nickname. Okay. As Kun I said, the dissolved party, and then as Pipak says, as the natural reaction of people, it's all come down to the flash mob and all the political engagement, especially by the younger people, because either be the internet access, the 4.0 way of life, or the generation conflict. Obviously, like we see a lot of clash between younger people and the older people, and how they like so against each other in both ideology and physically, I would say sometimes. And then the flash mob happened, and after the 5 to 6 years of political atmosphere in Thailand being freeze, and it was such a big thing because it was never before have like, and many people, especially online, engage. Online, especially in Twitter and Facebook. Like, who would imagine Twitter would be a platform for political agenda?
Right.
Just like nowadays.
Yeah, right.
I mean, like,
through hashtags,
like it was such a bizarre thing. I mean, I always on Twitter, but it was mostly for like celebrity and all the gossip and everything. It was never ever before politics.
Before like be a political area.
Yeah.
Like that, but going on for like a few months, when it was in March 2020, then we got attacked by the pandemic. And then we can't go out, we can't do gathering.
It was like a small pause actually though. We actually like expected,
it was going well.
Expected like a higher engagement and a lot of more demonstration and like public outreach and everything, but then COVID happened and everything was put on pause. Because of like pandemic.
Then lockdown.
And the lockdown happened.
I think that there's a hope from the government that like, okay, we're gonna use this as a reason, like to lock down, and then people won't come out.
Yeah, I mean, even now, nowadays.
So they declared a state of emergency.
Yeah, emergency decree, right?
Emergency decree.
Yeah,
and also the curfew.
During the first phase of the increasing of the pandemic in Thailand, but before the actual all this strict measurement, there was this dilemma and contradiction and controversial about like, is our government really doing anything or not? Like, their policy, their action, their counter measurement was so slow that everyone is like, what are you guys doing? People are dying out here. And like, Thailand is the first country to be infected with the COVID, right? From Wuhan.
From China.
Yeah. We are the first country, and so everyone is like in a panic mode, like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? And like the government.
They didn't stop the flight from Wuhan. From the city where the pandemic first appeared.
Yeah. So it was really trickling a lot of people, and to first begin to question the capability, the decision making, the strategy of the government, and so the fight go on.
Right. So they just want to stop people's activities to so-called to say that to stop the pandemic, but it's automatically stop people's demonstration too.
So people claim that it was actually a hidden political agenda because the flash mob is happening and rapidly increasing, and the COVID come in time for the government to use this as an excuse, if to put it that way.
COVID or the pandemic, it should not be any political agenda, but it's is
It
a
is.
political agenda for
State
people
of-
who support the government, support lockdown, and people who doesn't support saying that like the government is using too much of the authority to.
This is like securitization of state.
Right,
I mean,
right,
like
right.
a state is creating something that is not harmful. Okay, I'm not saying that COVID is not harmful.
Yeah, I'm saying so, not harmful.
Okay. Now our opinion clashing, but yeah, the process of state is trying to do is like making something that may be or maybe not harmful turn into something so dangerous that people actually give state justification to have a power over them.
Yeah.
And so we see the emergency decree, the curfew, the lockdown, everything is like everyone is, oh my God, that's so good. That's what the government needs to do.
Right.
See, this is like the securitization of state, and it also lead to the theory of state of emergency.
Right. Not only in Thailand, but all over the world. We can see like in the US, in the UK, or even in New Zealand. Then Mr. Park went to New Zealand.
I mean, what I'm going to say is that it's a global phenomena. If you look at the authoritarian leaders,
Yes.
they use COVID-19 pandemic as a justification to extend their rule.
Hungary, for example.
Hungary, yeah.
That is like the clear picture of what securitization of this pandemic is.
Yeah.
Like state of emergency, you know? So, but yeah, we're not talking about theory or anything right now. Coming back to Thailand, okay, the government...
Like after.
Yeah, the government used this as an excuse, and then we went on lockdown, and then everything, the economic activity was put on pause. Everyone is suffering. Economically, socially, physically, mentally, everyone is like, oh my God, what are we gonna do now?
Yeah, so I think that's the reason that the demonstration comes back, like after the COVID was
going on in Thailand.
Yeah, you know, I'd say it going on, but once we lock down the country and freeze the country, so foreigner cannot enter the country directly, no tourists. So it lays
Thailand, like our economic like heavily dependent on tourism. And so imagine the lockdown and everything, like our income just got cut off. I'm not sure how many percent or exact number, but our economy got put on pause, and like everyone is like suffering from not having anything to eat.
Lots of people lose their job.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, lost their job, and then so it's more and more problem that the government cannot deal with the problem good enough.
Yeah.
So I think it start and it ignites
the people
again. So
and this time it's not just younger generation anymore. It's like majority of people who are like.
So I think it's about August.
Late July.
Yeah.
It's in late July that demonstration comes back. It starts with Penguin, like with Mr. Penguin, Mr. Parit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at first, what I observed is that they organized like a flash mob, but they receive a good feedback.
So they increase their.
Yeah, that's why they elevate their movement from late July to.
I think October.
November.
No, in November.
Oh.
No, but I feel like the high peak of it was during the October.
During the
after.
The remembrance of the Thammasat massacre.
After a crackdown.
As Kun Pulipat said, the COVID is actually like a mirror or like a trigger point. You can put it that way. People feel the suffer and they see. Okay, honestly, they see how incapable the state are in trying to contain and help people with their daily life. And okay, you gotta separate the two issues. For Thailand, we have a good public healthcare public system. That's why we are good at containing. You can put it that way. But meanwhile, our government are not managing in a quite positive way. You can see from our economic status, in the inequality status, or even just socially, like how they adapted with the risk or how they meditate the risk are still on the low point. So these two need to be separate, the public health function and the government function. And so that's why people coming out, because they see how like, oh my God, we can't continue to live on like this. Economic are bad, our mental health are bad, education are not working anymore. So people come down and join with the movement. I would say,
and with 3 demands that they
it was actually 10 first, right?
No. It was the resignation of the prime minister and constitutional amendment,
and then the reform of the monarchical institution. Yeah,
but it's different. It was different groups, right? It was a Thammasat group.
But they are coalition.
the coalition.
Yeah.
Okay, so first, there are a lot of groups that coming out. They are not just one group, unity, but there are a lot, and they just join hands together with the same objective of the 3 demands that we just said. And as we mentioned before, the movement began to hike up and peak up during the October.
Yep.
Yeah, during the 14, 15. We have this. They were like having this activity of like walking at Democracy Monument, and then the police crackdown at the night in front of the government house. I think that was the first trigger point. And then after the arresting of the head of the movement, people was like, okay, this is too much. We're gonna still going down the street. We're not gonna stop here. And then they went to
Rajapasong intersection.
Yeah. For the second day protest after the arresting of the head. And so that at Rajapasong Day was the final trigger point that everyone was like, oh my god, no, because during the I think 9 p.m. around that time there was like actual
it was Songkran again.
Well, yeah, an actual crackdown using water cannon and the crash between the police military force with the protester. And like you probably already see from the picture online that it was quite violent. Like Thailand haven't experienced this kind of thing for quite a long time, and so with that picture going online, and it was actually on live. Everyone watching it from home and from abroad, and they were like, "Oh my God, what is going on at this place?" And so I think that was the trigger point. And in our opinion, we thought like the security side, the government side, they thought like, oh, if we crack them down, they'll probably just stop coming to protest. But
it just
backfired.
goes up like a mushroom.
Yeah.
So what do we see in this year so far that you can say, Mr. Park, that it is different from last year's?
You cannot use the old approach to analyze the movement because to me this is a new one, and we never had this kind of movement. For example, you say that the police thought that if they arrest the protest leader, so the movement will eventually gone. But it has been proved that no, it's not.
Yeah.
Because the movement is driven by everyone,
by the people. So yeah, as this point, I believe like the government side or the police side, they trying to fight it just like how they fight with yellow shirt and red shirt. They believe like, oh my god, demonstration must have been led by someone, so if we arrest the head, naturally the body will be gone. But this protest turned out to be just like Hydra. Cut one head off and then like we'll pop up 2 more.
Just only in a few hours they can gather more than 10,000 people.
It was actually fascinating. Like especially how they like arrange the protester and demonstration, right? Like if you're on Telegram and their group, Twitter. And they just post where they're gonna set up in only 2 hours, and within that 2-hour time period, people are already at the site.
Right.
And not just like couple of people, they're like 1,000, 10,000 even to some point. And
that's what the like old ancient government cannot follow.
Yeah, they can't comprehend with this thing.
Yeah, right. Because they don't even know how it works.
They don't even know Telegram.
They don't even know how Twitter and hashtags and Telegram groups and sort of things work. So now they were trying to track them using their information operations.
The I/O.
So-called I/O. That they try to go into the world and manipulate them, but it
they too old to play the game.
Yeah, it's not that they too old, but they're not smart enough. I
okay.
say that.
They don't understand. What is really happening.
Yeah, they're still stuck in Cold War. I always use this word. Their mindset are still stuck in Cold War, and they still fight like they do in Cold War.
In the Cold War,
which is like not working at all, babe. Like it's not working.
Right.
And so so this is basically like what is going on in Thailand right now. There are like a lot more detail going on, but now it's just people become more political engaging, more political awareness.
Right.
why the government are doing their best to, like, they claim that they doing this to put on peaceful peace back to the society, but
right, and I think that the future forward
party,
I won't say party because now it became more idea, you know, like it spread over, and now it's still working, like
the picture of future forward.
Yeah, in the mob, or would you say in the demonstration, you know, they still believe that the problem today is the structural problem, and we have to tackle it structurally, I'd say.
Yes.
You know, not only change the prime minister or sort of constitutional amendment, but, you know, like structure as a whole. That the thing that they wanted to tackle, you know, not only laws or constitution, but culturally, traditionally, you know, like everything. So that's what we have seen in 2020. It's different from even last year, from 2019, that we had an election and nothing really changed. But this year we see that it goes so fast, and it elevated, you know, like break the ceiling. You know, like within few months after the demonstration.
And it's quite even.
And it's just like Mr. Park say that it might not be the same anymore. We are in the time of history.
True.
I mean, that is like fact.
What do you think the like most of people would say last year, before the new year, before the 1st of January 2020, I said last year, people said, like, what's your new year resolution for Thai politics?
Trying to survive.
What do you think? What do you expect it will happen? Like, would it be more faster elevated like this, or?
If it has to be, it has to. I don't know. Because it's a future, we don't know. But we can determine the future. If no matter the government, the police, or the protester wants to do anything, just think for the whole Thailand,
the people,
not just to do for
the group,
to keep a status quo. I mean, you need to think more, because Thailand is now never be the same again. And it's not the end of the movement. It's just a small pause.
Like for me myself, I'm expecting more interesting stuff. Like obviously, and now that Thailand are facing another COVID cluster, a lot of juicy and interesting will be happening soon. I believe like this is not gonna end. This is just like the beginning of season
people,
1.
I think now people can't stand lockdown anymore, so it will be different scene.
Oh, of course, because how can you live your life? I mean, for us, we are paid, right?
Oh yeah, we got paid by the government.
We got paid. Yeah.
We got monthly income.
No matter we got a monthly income, right? But for the people who live day by day, how can they live their lives? And if the government impose a lockdown again, this is, I can't imagine that scenario.
I feel like it would be much like
more people on the streets.
Yeah, because they would be like screw the COVID.
They have
coming
nothing
out
to lose anymore.
That word, nothing to lose, the desperation in people, like, because they need to live and a lot of now that we're looking back, a lot of things has been happening in Thailand, quite eventful, like politically, economically. Wow, a lot of breakdown.
That was this year's perspective, and we're looking forward to our New Year resolution.
If we have one.
Yeah, sure. About politics. Particularly. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so today, thank you very much for those people who listening at home, and thank you, Pi Park, Mr.
You're welcome.
Watanasuk,
for joining us.
Podcast today, and happy holiday season, everybody, and we hope that we'll come back in the English version
soon
with this special edition again. I hope you happy and be successful with your New Year
resolution.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, anyway, thank you very much for listening. Hope you guys stay safe, stay positive, and stay happy throughout the whole new year.
And stay out of COVID.
We'll catch you later in another episode. For today, thank you very much. ขอบคุณค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ